Good evening. I'm Mayor Javier Figueroa, and I'm calling the regular meeting of the University Place City Council for Monday, September the 16th, 2024, to order. And we'll start with a roll call by our city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Boykin.
Present.
Councilmember Worthington is excused. Councilmember McCluskey is excused. Councilmember Fleming is excused. Councilmember Grassi.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Present.
Mayor Figueroa.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And will Mayor Pro Tem Wood lead us in a pledge of allegiance?
Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Call for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any objections to approving the agenda tonight? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And we'll move on to the public comments. I do not see anyone here from the public here today, so is there anyone online?
No one online, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, I'll close the public comments and move on to consent agenda. I'm calling for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I second.
Are there any objections? None. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Okay, we are rapidly going into item number 7, and this is the city manager and council comments and reports. And our city manager, Steve Sagg, will go first.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Tonight's report is really brief. I would encourage the council to take a drive out to Cirque Park, and you'll see the great work that was done, finished up today by our Public Works crew that installed the pad for the inclusive playground, which is going to start being built on that site in October. It's a beautiful retaining wall that they built with the proper fill material behind the wall, and you can definitely see where the playground equipment is going to go. And they did a very professional job of preparing the ground, and we're ready for the playground to be installed. So I want to thank the crew, and it's worth taking a trip out. I didn't take a photo to show you, but when you get a chance, take a drive out and look at. You can see the site. And that's the end of my report.
If I may, would you give us a little announcement about the October, before our next meeting? I think we have October Fest, or is that after the next meeting?
I'm sorry, on the
Oktoberfest?
Oh, the Oktoberfest, excuse me. Yes, Oktoberfest is October the 11th. So it's not too early to announce that. Thank you, Mayor. It is Friday, October 11th, and I believe it starts at, I'm going to say 5 o'clock. Thank you. Councilmember Grassi is nodding in approval.
Linda's giving
Okay.
the cue behind you. So yes,
Okay.
it's a tag team effort.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always a great event, and we think it'll be another great event this year. But thank you, Mayor, for reminding me that and we'll mention that again on October 7th. But we should get the word out now, and it's up on our website and the city sites.
Thank you.
So yes, thank you.
So to my right, Councilmember Grassi, comments, reports?
I don't have that much to report this evening. I am excited to hear and yield my time to Mayor Pro Tem Wood. He says he has an extensive report regarding the Climate Action Committee that he attended, so I'm thankful for that. I also want to say thank you to the team that will be putting on Oktoberfest. It's a great community event, and so want to encourage everyone to come out and be a part, engage in our community. And also, I had a great meeting this week with our Community Connection Place leader. She's getting ready for our community Princess Tea. Lots of exciting different entertainment. They haven't had an event like this since COVID, so this is going to be their big coming back out party for the community for children to enjoy. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be October 18th. You'll be hearing more, but thank you to our wonderful Community Connections Place. They do a great job servicing our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, when I shift over, it's only because the sunlight is just blazing in my eyes, so it's not because I'm trying to get away from my council member over here or anything else, just I'm trying to get away from the light. So, Council Member Boykin.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I've got a short report as well. I just wanted to acknowledge being thankful for the moment of remembrance ceremony on September 11th. It was somber, of course, but celebratory. As the rain did not stop us, we got an opportunity to honor those who we lost. And so just wanted to publicly thank, again, Deputy Chief Hallie McCurry for the invitation and being so thoughtful as she is each and every year. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you so much. And your remarks, I should say, were also apropos. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem, do you need an hour or half an hour? What do you need?
I should be able to get this done in under 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, you're on.
No. First, I would like to say that along with actually everybody who's here on the Dye now, I was at the 911 Remembrance Ceremony as well. It was a very moving ceremony and just reminded me personally of how much my life changed as a direct result of that event. Just chose different careers, deployed, did a lot of different things, and then just remembering those who we lost.
Absolutely.
And that was just, it was a well-done ceremony. I'd like to thank the fire department for putting it on every year and for hosting a very well-done ceremony. So the second thing I want to talk about, this might go a little long. I'll try and keep it brief. I went to the climate conversation meeting with the county. It's a quarterly meeting on last Friday, and took a lot of notes because there's a lot of good ideas. And I will I'll just go through the list, and it just things for us to consider going forward. Some things I think are more immediate than others, and I have them in my notepad here, so bear with me. So the first thing is that Pierce County, Councilmember Mello mentioned that they are doing a critical area resilience update, and they're specifically looking at flooding issues. And I know we've got some properties in our community along Leech Creek that occasionally flood, and I don't know if this is part of that survey or not, but I think we should check and investigate. This is just in the category of what our fellow jurisdictions are doing. King County got a $49 million CPRG, which is a climate protection something, phase 2 grant. $38 million of it will be dedicated to electrification of single and multifamily housing. And so if that's something our community wants to approach in the future, this is something we could look at. Another jurisdiction reported hiring additional staff using grant funds. I don't believe we've ever tried that before. I don't know if we could or should, but it's something that I found interesting and I thought we should take a look at some point, potentially. Let me see here. This is one, I admit, I didn't quite catch exactly how the legalities of this worked, but the Puget Sound Clean Air Agency said that there is a relatively new federal tax credit, but since local governments don't pay taxes, I'm not sure how that works. But it's for local governments and nonprofit organizations for implementing green action, specifically if we purchase electric vehicles, put in EV charging infrastructure, do any kind of like solar additions to municipal buildings, things like that, that there's some kind of tax rebate credit. Don't fully understand it, but I'd like us to investigate that one at some point if we go there. There's a couple of breakout sessions. One was on heat and smoke, and the other one was on freshwater and stormwater management. I went to the stormwater management one. And the key point I wanted to raise was that how much of our stormwater management infrastructure is held privately, because the discussion up until then had been all about, well, we've got these big projects we want to do at the Port of Tacoma or something else, and that's great. I don't want to minimize that, but the reality is it starts with often a private pond that's held by an HOA. Not that we know anything about that. Representative from Puyallup mentioned that the Washington State University Extension in Puyallup is also the stormwater center for the state of Washington. Didn't know that, and they like looking for projects. So if we ever have a project for the city, a study, something like that, we may want to consider tapping into that. Councilmember Mello also brought up the flood control zone district, and that funds are being collected on behalf of every jurisdiction, and that a lot of cities aren't using them. And so I've asked the question of our staff, and they said they'd get back with us on what we're using our funds for, because they're ours. And they just sit there if we don't use them, and so it'd be good to know if we were actually repurposing them in the way they're supposed to be intended. But the reason I brought that up, because you could use it on stormwater projects, flood control projects, and also some forms of green infrastructure. So that could be helpful for us as we're looking for funding. We mentioned EV chargers earlier. That may be a potential source of funding for that kind of thing. There's a presentation by Tacoma Pierce County Health Department on heat and smoke. The presenter mentioned that the local threshold for a heat event is actually 82 degrees because of the standard temperature in the Pacific Northwest. You know, in Arizona, that's a cold day, but here, for us, that's hot. So thought that was interesting. They have also just completed an urban heat map survey and expect to have their data in the next few weeks. I don't know if UP is included in that data or in that survey, but if they are, I think that'd be great information for us to look at. The Sound Safe Infrastructure Initiative discussed the nexus between transportation and waterway restoration projects and how they are focused on finding grant opportunities to accomplish these. Thought that was interesting. And then the Puget Sound Climate Preparedness Collaborative. This is one I think we should really look into relatively quickly. Many local jurisdictions are members of this, what do they call it, the collaborative. UP is not one of them. There is no cost to join, and they meet monthly. Not sure at what level of staff they meet, but they do meet monthly. What makes this particularly interesting is they just got a $75 million NOAA grant, and they're looking for small city projects to spend it on with a focus on coastal climate resilience. And so the grant period runs from 1st of January 2025 to 31 December 2027, so 3 years. There is no application process yet. They expect it to come out in spring. And they're looking for projects that can be completed in about 18 months. And so as we're looking at projects for our coastal areas, and things that came to mind, I don't even know if we have this information or not, but if we wanted to do a study on impacts of sea level rise or engineering assessments of our transportation infrastructure down there as sea level rises or things like that, or coastal climate changes happen, I think that would be a very interesting project that we could apply for, and I think our city, assuming we can spare the staff to support if it's a staff level meeting, should consider joining this collaborative, because I think it'd be very interesting there. And that really concludes my notes from the meeting, so unless you all had any questions, I am finally done with my report.
That wasn't
Thank
bad.
you.
That was good. Thank you. It would be interesting of some of the things you said, Mr. Sugg, if you could maybe follow up with him a little bit and see if anything that is happening out there, like that he mentioned, is viable to us, and then maybe you can report to the council of the interest. So, if that's fair enough. I too attended the 9/11, and I did have the fortunate time to speak. We had five council members there, and as mayor I spoke, and it's really hard to figure out what to say in a time like this, and but I think that at the end of the day, it was something I wanted to represent our city and our citizens well, and that's what I'm there for. And one that represented the actual event. And so, but I have to say, it's never an easy task when you're assigned to go and speak on a very delicate and emotional time, and to say words that would actually have any meaning, because as you know, when you speak and things like this, you probably heard it 1,000,000 times, and so to be somewhat where you stand out in what you're saying so that people can feel like, this is a special time. I certainly hope from our council members, but others did comment that they really appreciated the words. I have to give credit to our communications staff, Linda, and our consultant that helps us wordsmith those speeches like that. And so, we have a very unique relationship with a consultant that helps us with that. What she's really, really good about, she can read my mind. And I never thought, except for my wife, anybody could actually do that. But, you know, she just interviews me, and I tell her exactly what I want to say and what I want to feel when I'm saying it, and she's like magic. So I have to say thank you, Steve and staff, for having somebody like that for us, a brilliant person. Excuse me, there was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, yes. So, talking about communication staff, I did go to NATOA, to the conference, and Steve Worthington was not able to go, so I wanted to see, I went purposely for 3 different things. Wanted to see if what I heard from other folks from around the country, what they are doing with communication, and how are they communicating with their community? What are the issues? What are they utilizing? What are the equipment? Just to see how that compares to us. The third reason was I wanted to visit a city of Charleston to see, because they just went through a hurricane just a week before. I wanted to see, I was expecting debris, I was expecting stuff on the streets, I don't know, fences gone or whatever, but it was fairly, really, really clean. And the other thing I was trying to see is storefronts, especially in the historical part. Storefronts that, are they closed, are they full? Is there homelessness? Are there tents all over the place? Garbage, you know. What I saw was a very clean city. And understandably, they have about 8 million visitors a year. But I know other cities that have that and more, and they are looking pretty sad. And so I was trying to see, you know, I actually wanted to meet with a council member and mayor. I never got a response, unfortunately, to ask them how do they keep up with that kind of stuff. What ordinances do they have? What policies do they have that puts such a city in a very nice place to go to? So I didn't get a chance to do that, but I can tell you that for a city that just went through a hurricane, certainly it's like nothing ever happened. Seriously. With what I found out with NATOA is it was really interesting. They had several sessions where, and by the way, it was mostly staff. I was the only elected official in the whole conference, but it was staff, the working bees, that do all the work. And it was fun because I was just right in there, and it was fun for them because they got to talk to one elected official. And so what I did find out is we are, because we have had communications as our goal, top priority for many years, and we also are very much in tune, our council is, with how we communicate with our constituents. I can say that we're probably, based on what I heard, and I was really engaged, that our equipment, what we do for our size of city and staff, that we have a lot more than others. And I did ask, why not? They said, well, we don't have the administration or council that really cares. I'm quoting them. We don't have enough staff and not enough support about how we do our job. So I think that, I know that we have, for the small amount of staff, I think of 2 in the communications. We do probably, those 2 individuals do probably the work of about 10. I wish that sun was not looking at me. I'm actually blind right now, guys, so excuse me. I'm going to have to come over here. May I speak in yours?
Please.
Excuse me. I'm serious. It's just like hurting my eyes. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
So it's interesting, and I'm really saying this not to pat anybody too much in the back, but the fact is that the work that our 2 staff do for what I heard, what others can do, they are not only doing 10 times, but the quality of work is 10 times. And the other thing that I learned is we think about when we ask staff or staff does that on their own or whatever, that every time we see a little clip on the YouTube or on a website, that it might take just a little, hour or so. But I didn't realize it. And, when staff, I've talked to staff here and there, it's just hallway conversations. Oh, yeah, it takes a long time. Well, you kind of think, okay, what does that really mean? And, okay, they're going to say it's going to take a long time. But in reality, I was hearing that across the board over, tens of staff people that do this for a living all the time. And the work that goes behind the scenes trying to just create a 10-second professional video because they have to go through legal stuff. They can't just put anything that's going to put the city at harm. Mm-hmm. That's one of many things. Is the message correct? Is it everything? So that was it could be, 24 hours, 48 hours by the time you're done with one little clip. Imagine when we see these clips that are 30 minutes. Imagine the work. So I will cooperate a little bit more when you want to take a video of me. I won't. I'll be more serious, okay? But it is really amazing, and you're going to see some of these clips tonight with our communication report, I guess. Maybe not, but I can tell you every time you see these things, you can really look behind, if you can just imagine behind the scenes, all the real tedious work. I wouldn't want that job, personally, because it's very tedious. And the thing is it's all the medias that we do, and it has to be written right. It has to be figure out who's going to talk and what are they going to say, all kinds of stuff. So again, it really put a perspective on me, being on this council for 15 years now, that communication is not a simple job. And I know we all kind of realize that's really critical. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. But for two people to do this job at the level, now, and I know there are some consultants like Kate and maybe, we have others that we might even have like PCTV that helps out with a lot of this stuff that we contract out to. But a lot of that is initiated by these two staff. And I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to, they have a spill to say tonight. But please, see, I can't even see you.
No, come back this way now.
Okay. Now see, it's right at me.
Okay.
So just remember when you see all this, think about the work that goes behind it. It's really impressive. Actually, really, really impressive. So that being said, thank you for your time, and we'll move on to the study session. And that is item number 8, communications report by the staff, Linda Z's communications manager.
Thank you so much, Mayor. That may be the best money on a conference we've ever spent. Bar none. There we go. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Can you hear me well? Yes?
Yes.
I'm Linda Sees, your communications manager, and joining me tonight from outside is Amanda Kleber, your communications specialist. We thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present to you today. As you can see, she is joining us from off-site. She's sick, and we thought it best for everyone, including her, that she present from home. She's sorry not to be here, but she's going to speak tonight. So you won't see her, but she will be here with us for sure. We have quite a bit of information to get through, and so we'd indulge you to allow us to get to the end of our presentation before we entertain questions, and hopefully we'll have answers along the way to any of the questions that might come up for you. In today's presentation, we're here to highlight the role our communications department plays in fostering a vibrant and connected community, and we'll start by exploring our current communications channels and how they effectively serve our community. Then we'll dive into the latest social media trends and their impact on our outreach strategies. And after that, we'll examine the role of non-social media platforms and their importance in our overall communication efforts. Finally, we'll touch on additional duties and tasks that support our communications goals. So let's get started. This is where we find out whether Linda knows how to make, there we go. Make the thing go. The keystones of our goals are listed on the screen, most specifically the top three: transparency, trust, and engagement. Our department is committed to transparency, which is the cornerstone of effective governance. By ensuring clear and open communication, we empower residents with the information they need to be informed and engaged citizens. Building trust is also at the heart of our mission. We understand that trust is not lightly given. Not only from the community, but also from staff and council. It's earned through consistent, honest, and timely communication. Our efforts are directed towards establishing and maintaining the trust with the community, ensuring that every message we convey upholds the integrity of the city's values and objectives. Community engagement is central to our approach. We actively seek to involve residents by connecting and providing multiple channels for feedback and interaction. By listening to and addressing the concerns and ideas of our community, we foster a sense of belonging and active participation. The final two items focus on behind the scenes, brand management and departmental support. Brand management is crucial in shaping how the city is perceived. We are dedicated to building and maintaining a positive, consistent image of our city, reflecting its values, achievements, and identity. Our strategic approach to brand management helps to enhance the city's reputation and ensure that our messaging resonates effectively with both residents and external stakeholders. Support for departments and teams is another key aspect of our role. We provide help and the conduits through which our city departments communicate their projects and objectives, aligning their messaging with the city's overarching goals. This internal collaboration strengthens our collective impact and ensures that our messaging is unified and purposeful. Just a note about how we work in our communications team, where we consider ourselves a dynamic duo, each of us heading up different projects, taking the lead. While one of us might be taking the lead on different projects and channels. While one of us might be spearheading a specific initiative, rest assured that we're both very involved in every aspect. We review each other's work to ensure consistency and quality across all our communications. So as you listen tonight about all our work and efforts, know that each of these areas is benefiting from the attention and collaboration from both of the team members. So we are a big believer in two pairs of eyes on everything we do. In summary, our communications department plays a pivotal role in promoting transparency, building trust, engaging with the community, while also managing the city's brand and supporting our internal teams. We are committed to these principles as we work to strengthen the connection between the City Council and the residents we serve. Our city utilizes a range of communication channels to keep residents informed and engaged, which fall under these four categories: website, social media, print, and broadcast. You might recognize those. The city website is the central hub for official information and services. It provides comprehensive details on city policies, city council meetings, public services, the event calendars, important updates in the form of news flashes. Residents can access resources such as permit applications, job opportunities, and contact deals for city departments, ensuring easy and efficient access to necessary information. All of our other communications channels point back to the city website as the main source of complete information. Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and others offer real-time updates and engage residents through interactive posts and responses. These channels are used to share news, public announcements, community events, fostering direct communication and community interaction. Print materials, including flyers, newsletters, and brochures, as well as their digital counterparts, such as the e-newsletter headlines, provide detailed and tangible information on city initiatives, events, and services. These materials are often distributed through mail or available for download online. There she is. Sorry. No worries. Ensuring that information reaches residents in a format that is convenient for them. Our broadcast channel, UPTV, University Place Television, offers video content that can include city council meetings, public service announcements, and community-focused programming. This platform provides a visual and auditory means of communication, reaching audiences who prefer or rely on television for information. Each medium plays a unique role in ensuring that all residents have access to vital city information through their preferred method of communication. And we'll touch on those, on updates for some of these later. But first, we want to really provide a focus on social media. And for that, we will turn to Amanda, who spearheads that content for our social media channels. She is going to talk to you today about trends in social media, which guide our plans while also sharing some of the work that's been done. Amanda, thanks for joining us.
And before you start, Amanda, I want to put a plug in. Amanda, I failed to say, was a speaker at one of the sessions at NATOA. And I have to say, a brilliant young lady that knows what she's talking about. Because it wasn't just me, it was the entire room that literally I went around asking them. They had no idea that she was from the same city. I said, what do you think about that? That was great, man. Oh, Mayor. And that's all I heard. That was great. I learned. I needed to go and talk to her. So they didn't want to talk to me. They wanted to talk to Amanda. So seriously, great, knowledgeable person, and she conveyed it verbally very well. Okay.
And Amanda, before you start, I want to say something as well. She was a single person on that panel. It wasn't a panel at all. It was only Amanda for about an hour and 15 minutes, Amanda. I think maybe the last 10 were questions, but she did an excellent job, and we appreciate your comments there, Mayor. Thank you for that. Okay, Amanda, you're up.
Well, gosh, thank you so much, Mayor and Linda. I really appreciate those comments. And I am so sorry I sound like this and that I have to join from home. But I'm so thankful for the opportunity to get to talk with you all about something that I am so passionate about when it comes to government communications. My passion might not come through with my current voice, but I'm going to do the best that I can. So in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, social media plays a pivotal role in the way that we communicate with our community. We're seeing a shift towards more interactive and engaging content. So think real-time videos, stories, and short-form clips that capture attention and foster real-time dialogue. By staying attuned to these trends, we assure that our messaging doesn't just reach our audience, but resonates with them. Monitoring metrics and analytics allows us to see what's working and what's not, so we can adjust our strategies accordingly and pivot if necessary. This data-driven approach helps us remain on the cutting edge, ensuring we're using the most efficient and effective channels and content types to engage our residents. Adapting to social media trends isn't about chasing the latest fad. It's about meeting our community where they are and connecting with them in ways that they're most receptive to. By doing so, we enhance our reach, strengthen our connection with the public, and ensure our messages are heard loud and clear, unlike my voice right now. In essence, by paying close attention to social media trends and metrics, we can tailor our efforts to maximize engagement and effectively serve our community's needs.
Next slide.
So understanding where people get their information is crucial for effective government communications in the digital age. A recent Pew Research Center survey shows that 83% of Americans use YouTube, 68% use Facebook, and 47% use Instagram. These statistics provide a clear picture of where we should focus our efforts to reach the widest audience possible. By targeting these popular platforms, government communications can achieve greater reach, improve efficiency and resource allocation, and tailor engagement strategies. Moreover, this approach allows us to provide accurate information directly to the public, potentially countering misinformation. In essence, paying attention to these metrics isn't just about the numbers, it's about connecting with people where they are, adapting to the changing landscape of information consumption, and ensuring that important messages reach the intended audience effectively.
Yes.
According to Hootsuite Social Trend Survey, most consumers today prefer content that makes them laugh, inspires them, visually engages, and informs. It's clear that the days of simply showcasing our achievements are behind us. Instead, audiences now look to relatability and connection. So when we brainstorm content ideas and strategies, we keep these preferences in mind. This way, we're not just hitting our goals, but also delivering content that resonates with and engages our community. People connect with people, not institutions. One fact that has become abundantly clear is that trends in video consumption have changed drastically over the years. The attention span has shrunk to just over 8 seconds, which makes a really strong case for the importance of short-form video. 89% of consumers want to see more short-form videos from agencies in 2024, and 69% of consumers prefer to watch those videos on their smartphone device. Taking these two statistics into consideration, we've had to pivot our strategies. If a large percentage of our community is living on their smartphone and wanting short-form videos, it's our job to tailor the content we create in a way that will best reach them. One example of how we have recently done this is by showcasing what a day in UP could look like to a resident or any potential visitor. Linda, if you could play the video.
You bet. I hope this isn't too loud. Get ready. Nope.
This is the summer of memories. We won't forget these nights, jumping in the water, sitting round the fire, singing songs like howling wolves in the night. This is the summer of memories. We won't forget these. Yeah, I wanna end. This is.
There you go. Okay, it's done.
Thank you. So
bet.
again, just a really short video that we were able to put on our social media channels that really highlighted what a day in UP could look like. And it got a lot of engagement and was really fun to make in the process. So if you could go to the next slide, please.
It's there, yes.
All right, so trust is the foundation of effective government communication. Without it, even the most well-intentioned messages can fall flat or be met with skepticism. When our community trusts us, they're more likely to believe in the information that we share, follow recommendations, and engage with initiatives that benefit everyone. In today's fast-paced digital world, misinformation spreads quickly. By being transparent, consistent, and clear in our communications, we help build that trust. It ensures that residents feel heard, valued, and confident that we have their best interest at heart. This trust becomes especially critical in emergency situations. Whether it's a natural disaster, public health crisis, or urgent safety issue, people need to know that they can rely on the information coming from their local government. When trust is in place, the community is more likely to follow guidance quickly, which can save lives and reduce confusion. Trust isn't just important, it's essential, especially when it comes to keeping our community safe.
Yep.
As a government agency, utilizing both Facebook and Instagram provides us with powerful tools to reach and engage our local community. Facebook offers a broad platform to share important updates, foster direct communication, and keep residents informed. While Instagram's visual-first approach allows us to showcase the city's projects, events, and human stories in a compelling way. Together, these platforms help us connect with diverse audiences, build trust through transparency, and create a stronger sense of community by encouraging real-time interaction and engagement.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about Facebook. Government agencies are leveraging Facebook to connect with the public in a more personal and accessible way. With its large, diverse user base, Facebook allows us to reach a wide range of demographics all in one place. We use the platform to share important updates, community events, and emergency notifications in real time, making sure residents are always informed. One of the most powerful features of Facebook is its ability to foster that two-way communication. Through comments, messages, and reactions, we can engage directly with our residents, answer their questions, and respond to their concerns. This level of interaction helps humanize our agency, showing that there are real people behind the messages who care about our community. We also use Facebook to showcase the human side of local government, sharing stories about city employees, highlighting community achievements, and providing behind-the-scenes looks at city projects. By doing this, we help build a stronger connection with the public, fostering that trust and that transparency in a way that traditional media might not always be able to achieve. And just there you can see just a brief snapshot of what our Facebook pages look like. So let's talk a little bit about metrics. Facebook metrics provide us with valuable insights into public feedback on various initiatives, allowing us to fine-tune outreach strategies and tailor our communication to better meet the needs of our community. By leveraging this data, we can enhance the effectiveness of information dissemination. We can promote greater transparency and foster that stronger citizen engagement and participation in local governance. As you can see, there's a quick little on the bottom left-hand side there, our audience metrics. You can see they've steadily grown over time. That's a really positive sign for us because it means that more people are turning into our Facebook page to get that real-time information. And there on the right, you can see one of our top-performing posts, which we were super excited about, was the post about the canine Coda dog. And two things that always do really well on social media are public safety and pets. And this was no different. We had a 55,930% higher than median reactions. We reached over 108,000 people with this post. We don't even have that many people in our city. So to see these kind of numbers come from our content makes us feel like what we are doing is working. And so we want to lean into that and continue to proverbially feed the beast of social media and continue to post this content. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of content. And here are a few examples. Posts on Facebook are shared in the newsfeed, and this can include text, images, videos, and links. They're a versatile tool for communicating with residents. The image on the left showcases the metrics from a post about the wayfinding sign survey. Utilizing Facebook is one of the ways we can help get more participation in community-based surveys. And this one was particularly exciting because we got over 71 comments. We reached over 1,600 people. So to get that kind of engagement on something that we're really wanting engagement on is really encouraging. Photo album, shown in the middle, allows us to post the photos that we take at all of our events in one place, making it easy to share highlights with the community. Residents can then browse, revisit, and share these photos anytime, increasing that community engagement. Facebook events on the right allow people in and out of the community to see event details, RSVP, and share information with their friends and family. It can help give us a brief snapshot on what interest and attendance might look like, as well as give anyone who does RSVP to that event regular updates and reminders that the event is coming up, which basically serves as a built-in communication tool for our events to help boost turnout and participation. Posts, photo albums, and events are only a few of Facebook's features that we utilize to help keep residents informed. Now, Instagram offers a powerful way to connect with our community as well through visual storytelling. It allows us to share compelling images and videos that highlight city events, projects, and local achievements, creating a stronger emotional connection with our residents. Instagram is particularly effective in reaching a diverse audience, including those who prefer digital and visual consumption. The platform's features, like stories and reels, also let us provide quick updates on events or urgent announcements in an engaging and immediate way. What sets Instagram apart is its ability to foster meaningful two-way interaction. Through comments, likes, and polls, we can directly engage with the community, making residents feel heard and more connected to the city. It also helps build a sense of community, with people tagging us in posts and sharing their own experiences as well. As you can see here on the screen, we have two different images. These are both images of our Facebook profile. The one on the left shows what a feed looks like. Now, a feed is where our main posts are going to live. This can include both posts and videos. On the right, you'll see our Reels page, and we'll talk a little bit about Reels as we get further along. Reels can only live on the Reels page, but Reels and posts can live on that main feed. So by regularly utilizing these, we can help build that transparency and that trust, humanize our work, and keep residents informed about what's happening in their city. Now, just like Facebook, we also take a look at metrics when it comes to Instagram. These metrics can provide valuable insights into content performance, audience behavior, and marketing effectiveness, which helps to guide our strategic decisions to improve our engagement and reach on the platform. Instagram is one that's been a lot of fun. We started in 2020, right around the time of COVID, and we were kind of slow to get working with it. We were testing the waters. This last year, we decided to focus a little bit more effort on Instagram, just based off of the government's landscape use of social media, I should say. And we've seen a huge increase in the last year and a half. I think I took these numbers about a week and a half ago, and we now have even more than that. We're just shy of 1,700. And again, our highest engaged post was that canine CODA post. So again, police and dogs. We reached over 8,000 people, had over 12,000 impressions, 16 comments, 1,000 likes. And to see that type of engagement on social media for a small local government like us makes us feel like we're doing exactly what we need to be doing to reach our community. So let's talk a little bit about the different content types that we can put on social media. Stories are short, temporary posts that can disappear after 24 hours. They allow users to share photos, videos, and interactive content like polls, quizzes, and stickers. Stories can appear at the top of the feed, making them really visible and engaging. So why are stories so powerful? Stories can help boost our visibility. They sit prominently at the top of the app, ensuring that users see them. They also allow for more timely responses, as they have a 24-hour lifespan, which encourages a little bit more of an immediate engagement. Stories can also have an interactive nature. By using polls, quizzes, and links, we can invite our followers to interact with us directly, fostering those deeper connections. A couple of examples here on the screen are screenshots of some of the stories we've done just recently. On the left, we posted those wayfinding signs and included a link to the survey to encourage people to go out and participate. We also showcase photos from our events. So this could be you, or even this, are photos from Music on the Square. And we use those to generate some interest in the upcoming concert. The second from the right is a trend that we participated in, which was City Hall Selfie Day. It's a national event that allows government agencies to showcase the faces behind the scenes. So we get to showcase the work that our staff does to the community. And we got a lot of really positive engagement on that one as well. And on the far right, we posted a short little reel, or shared a reel, I should say, to our story about Music on the Square. And we included a poll. Will we see you this Wednesday? And we got 80% of the people who participated in the poll saying yes, they wouldn't miss it, and 20% said no, but maybe the next one. That allows us to see, oh, people are engaging with and seeing our content. And if anything, they're on notice that there's going to be a next Music on the Square. So again, these are really great tools for sharing behind-the-scenes content, quick updates, creating real-time interaction, and help promoting the events that are coming up. Now, Instagram feed posts. These are permanent images, videos, or carousels, which is basically just a group of photos that appear on the user's main feed. These posts allow for detailed captions, hashtags, and tagging, making them a valuable tool for ongoing communication. So why are they important for community outreach? Well, unlike stories, feed posts remain visible on the profile, allowing residents to revisit information. Posts can include longer captions, which offer space for clear, comprehensive updates or announcements. Posts can also be shared and discovered through hashtags, helping the city connect with a broader audience. Feed posts are perfect for promoting our city events, updates, and important announcements that residents can refer back to over time. Our goal with Instagram, and this is something that you might notice if you take a look at our profile, is to highlight the faces of the community that we serve. So you'll notice our recent posts focus on people in our community, our staff, and our council, rather than text or graphics. We want our profile to truly reflect the diversity and spirit of those that we serve, creating a more personal and relatable connection with our audience. And now we get to talk about Reels, which I absolutely love. So for those who aren't familiar, an Instagram Reel is a short, engaging video on Instagram that allows users to create and share content using music, effects, on-screen text, and creative editing tools. And generally they last for up to 90 seconds, but we tend to make them a little bit shorter than that. Again, keeping in mind that 8-second attention span. But why have Instagram Reels become such a powerful storytelling tool? Instagram Reels have revolutionized how government agencies connect with the public. So let's explore some of their key benefits. First, Reels offer expanded reach. With its algorithm favoring short-form video content, your message can spread far beyond your regular followers. This leads to an increase in engagement. The interactive nature of Reels encourages likes, comments, and shares, fostering that dialogue between our agency and our citizens. Reels can educate and entertain simultaneously. Again, going back to that Hootsuite survey. Complex policies or initiatives can be explained in bite-sized, visually appealing formats that capture and maintain public interest. It also helps to humanize our agency. Behind-the-scenes content, staff spotlights, show the people behind the institution, building trust and relatability. Accessibility is another crucial benefit. Reels' short format and features, like captions, make information more accessible to diverse audiences, including those with disabilities. Quick feedback is invaluable. Comments and interactions on Reels provide instant public sentiment, helping agencies gauge responses to policies or campaigns. And lastly, Reels facilitate agency collaboration, which we'll talk a little bit more about in just a few moments. By participating in these trends or challenges, different government bodies can work together, presenting a unified front on important issues. Instagram Reels offers government agencies an innovative platform to inform, engage, and connect with the public in today's digital age. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of these metrics here. This was one of the Reels that we had done, I believe, late last December when our public safety team dressed up like elves and paraded around green furs to the various different businesses as a crime emphasis. I followed them around and created a short reel, and it got over 25,000 plays, over 14,000 people reached, over 1,000 interactions. This type of content, again, is really great when we see that it's over 2,000% higher than our median reach. And so, Linda, if you'd like to play the video on the right and show council what that reel looked like. All right, and so there's another video on there. We created just recently a short reel about the crack sealing process that took place from August to September. Now, the whole crack sealing process has enough meat to generate a good 2 to 2.5 minute video. That could include on-screen interviews, a lot of production time. But rather than invest our time and efforts into creating that longer video, we decided to use this opportunity to tap into that short-form video trend and provide the community with the same information, only shorter, more concise, and in a way that ensures they'll see the content and can engage with it in real time by utilizing the platform and methods they prefer. So let's take a look at that crack sealing video.
Trying to get to the next slide. There we go.
Oh. Well, and just briefly, just to make a comment about that. One, really engaging music, right? We get to use more current music. And I know for our engineer in the room, I would say engineers, but I think there may be only one. We always love to see that pavement work, right? It's always so satisfying to see those cracks get filled, that cement gets moved over. And so for public works guys, they might not think it's something that's super exciting, but for the community, it's really great to see that the road improvement work is being done in our community, and it helps provide a safety message as well in a really short and easy to put together way. So from concept to screen, whenever we create our video content, whether it's a short Instagram reel like the ones you've seen, or a longer video for our UPTV television channel, there is a planning process that takes place behind the scenes. We script and plan out every video, from the music and shot lists to the social media content that we'll be using. That way our production time is as efficient as possible. Again, we're a 2-person staff with a couple of contractors, so we have to make sure that we're maximizing that efficiency wherever we can. And a lot of that comes from that pre-planning process. A quick snapshot of that is what you can see there on the right. This was the script for that crack sealing video that we did. We put it together and made sure that we knew what we wanted, what we needed, and what we were going to use it for. That way, when we went out on site with our public works crew, we didn't waste any time. So as we go through all this process, we ensure that we are also remaining consistent with our brand and authentic to our message and overall goals. This is important to help maintain that trust and keep our audience engaged. We regularly research content ideas from surrounding communities and engage with other agencies, partners, and constituents. This helps us understand trends, build on those relationships, and increase our visibility. While reels are visual, text still plays a crucial role. On-screen text is not only important for accessibility, but also for watching videos in all environments. Most individuals now have a smartphone, and we will watch it when we are sitting on the couch after work. We'll watch it on the subway or the bus, or if we're taking a break from work. And a lot of times we don't always want to have the sound up on high. So making sure that if there is talking happening in the video, that text on screen is still present. That way the content isn't lost without the sound. It's really important to make sure that we're utilizing those captions. Trending audio formats and transitions also help us stay current and ensure that our content is going to continue resonating and reaching that wider audience. Now, collaboration. Instagram's collaboration feature is one of my favorite aspects of Instagram. So let's dive into how it can benefit our government agency. The collaboration feature allows two accounts to co-author a reel or a post, sharing credit and expanding reach. This also allows the video to live on both profiles, increasing our engagement. One agency will create the video and invite the others to collaborate, allowing all of our followers as well as theirs to see the content. This can, at a minimum, double our visibility. So let's talk about some of the benefits of collaboration on Instagram and why it's one of my favorites. By collaborating, you can tap into each other's audiences, potentially doubling your visibility and expanding that reach. This feature facilitates partnerships between different government bodies, showcasing unity in public service, and facilitating cross-agency cooperation. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Collaborations with respected organizations or influential figures can enhance your agency's authority on specific topics, increasing our credibility, as well as introduce our audiences to other relevant government services or agencies. By pooling those creative resources and ideas, you can produce high-quality content more efficiently. So rather than every single agency creating their own content, it's essentially one for all. Collaborating with local agencies or community leaders helps to increase relevance and foster public trust by enhancing that community engagement. For large-scale public initiatives, multiple agencies can collaborate to deliver a cohesive, widespread message. So in practice, this could look like a recent video that we just did. It's a West Pierce Emergency Coalition video series. The City of UP, Lakewood, DuPont, Steilacoom, and West Pierce Fire and Rescue have teamed up to create a video series that will live on all of our platforms, pointing our communities in the right direction for emergency information. This creates a unified and consistent message. Let's take a look.
During an emergency, you need information that is relevant to you and your family. Pierce County is huge. In order to deliver efficient, precise, and timely information during an emergency, we at West Pierce Fire and Rescue,
the Lakewood Police Department, the town of Steilacoom,
the city of University Place, have come together to create the West Pierce Emergency Management Coalition.
Whether it's a fire, major traffic incident, the big one, or anything in between, the West Pierce Emergency Management Coalition will work together to provide information and resources directly relevant to West Pierce County.
Through the Coalition website, you can sign up for emergency alerts, learn about active emergencies, and stay up to date with ways to prepare you and your family for anything that may happen.
Communication is the key to an effective emergency response, but it can't happen without you, our neighbors and residents. So please visit westpierceemergency.org to learn more and sign up for emergency alerts.
So, by leveraging that collaboration feature, agencies like ours can create more impactful, far-reaching content while fostering that interagency relationship and public engagement. So, using a variety of social media platforms allows us to deliver a unified message while reaching the widest audience possible. Each platform is going to cater to a different demographic and serve a unique purpose. By strategically using multiple channels, we ensure our message stays consistent while tailoring the format to fit each audience's preferences. This approach helps us connect with more people, build trust, and ensure our communications are clear, engaging, and far-reaching. So, While platforms like Facebook and Instagram may be our main channels for reaching the community, we also on occasion expand our communication efforts to others like LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Each of these platforms offer unique opportunities that strengthen our overall message and reach. LinkedIn, for example, is great for professional networking and engaging with businesses, stakeholders, and highlighting some of our government achievements. It helps us establish credibility in the public sector and showcase our expertise. X, formerly Twitter, with its fast-paced nature, is ideal for quick updates, real-time news, and emergency alerts. It can be used for time-sensitive situations and for keeping our audience informed in short, digestible pieces of information. Now, while we have shifted away from X since its recent ownership transition, it's still a platform that we will occasionally use, especially when it comes to news and timely information. But again, most of those efforts are going to be focused towards Facebook and Instagram. And then there's YouTube. If you remember that Pew Research graph at the beginning, that is where most people are getting their content. It's a powerful tool for more in-depth content. It allows us to have all of our long-form video content in one central hub, share videos that educate, inform, and even inspire our community to all of our subsequent platforms. YouTube lets us engage through visuals and storytelling. By integrating these platforms with all of our primary channels, we create a unified brand and message. This ensures that we're reaching a wider and more diverse audience while maintaining consistency and trust in our communications. So now I'll turn it back over to Linda, who will tell you more about some of our communications channels.
Thank you, Amanda. Nice job. Non-social media. To effectively communicate with a broad range of individuals, our Government Communications Department utilizes several other media methods, each targeting different audience segments not necessarily reached by social media. Those include the website, we talked about these before, UPTV, e-newsletters, and print materials such as Between the Lines or postcards. By utilizing these non-social media methods, we ensure that we effectively engage with various segments of the population, accommodating different preferences and access levels to keep everyone informed and connected. Of these four, here's how we use these alternative methods to target the different audiences. The audience for the website is typically a diverse group, including tech-savvy individuals, professionals, and those actively seeking detailed and official information. It's particularly useful for people who prefer accessing information online and who need comprehensive details such as policy documents, reports, and official statements. Our official website serves as the central hub for information dissemination. The number of persons accessing our website in 2019 was nearly 300,000 sessions, while in the past 12 months, from August 23 to August 24, the website is up to 334,000 sessions, which equates to a little over 900 sessions a day. The top pages access continue to be the home page, which shows that our City of UPCom.branding is working effectively. People recognize it, remember it, and go to it or have bookmarked it. And that events, then the next most commonly accessed pages is events, the police blotter, and human resources, which likely is for the job opportunities on that page. And finally, current bids. Television broadcasts cater to a wide audience across various demographics. This includes individuals who may not use social media, such as older adults, those with limited internet access, or people who prefer traditional media. Television also reaches households and community members during peak viewing times, ensuring broad visibility for important updates and emergency alerts. While we can't measure UPTV stats, we did put some YouTube numbers up there because YouTube stats show the great interest in our videos. While we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of government programming on UPTV, we most importantly use it to stream our council meetings live to the channel. They also stream on YouTube, they stream on our website. You can access this meeting directly as well. By hitting the link that the clerk sends out. Tune in at 6:30 every other Monday to watch live on UPTV in your living room. Or you can watch the playbacks, which take place at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. every day. If you see a video If you see a video on our social media, it's likely also playing on UPTV. The exception to that are Reels, which are specific to that particular platform and can't be played there. Digital newsletters. Subscribers to our digital newsletters are typically engaged individuals who have opted in to receive updates directly. That includes community members interested in regular updates, stakeholders and professionals who appreciate curated information delivered straight to their inbox. Our bi-weekly Headlines e-newsletter has increased its viewers to 3,300 in 2024 from 2,500 5 years ago. This method of getting the word out is not just cost-effective, but it's extremely timely, convenient, and always relevant, providing up-to-date information directly to the people who have asked to receive it. People learn about events, parks, and road projects, fall cleanups, and what their council is currently working on. Print materials are effective in reaching individuals who may not be online or prefer physical copies of information. This includes older adults or those with limited internet access. Print media is also valuable for distributing information directly to all of the addresses in our community, making sure to reach people exactly where they live. 3 to 4 times a year, we send a print newsletter, Between the Lines. At the beginning of June, the focus is on summer events. The rest of them have various different types of focuses. We also send 3 to 4 postcards a year, typically for events such as Duck Days and Oktoberfest. Consistently, the postal numbers come back with about 20,000 addresses as those that receive these print media. By utilizing these non-social media methods, website, UPTV, digital and print media, we ensure that we effectively engage with various segments of the population. And I have a double page here. So we thought it would be good. Go ahead. There we go.
So now that you've seen all the different ways that we communicate with the public, we're going to show you how we bring those all together in practice to effectively execute a communications campaign for one of our larger events, such as Duck Days. Okay, go.
Okay, Duck Days. Our communications campaign for the all-day event effectively utilized a multifaceted approach to ensure broad engagement and successful promotion. Here's a breakdown of the key components that were implemented. Targeted emails were sent to past attendees, inviting them to sign up for the event. This personalized outreach helped ensure strong attendance from those who had previously enjoyed events and participated in it. Postcards were mailed to homes in the community with event details, encouraging attendance and participation. This tangible reminder reached those who might not engage online. We prepared engaging materials for the city booth, including brochures, interactive displays, and sign-up QR code stands for flash vote headlines and more to provide attendees with information and ways to get involved. Event info was also available on the website in various locations, calendar, news, and the event page. And the calendar entry serves as an extra benefit of shooting off notifications to any community member who signs up for those notifications. Event-themed hats in the form of duck hats, always popular, and yellow jackets for staff were purchased. And to boost enthusiasm, we purchased and organized giveaways that were distributed along the street as well as in the city booth. This included the ever-popular I Heart UP stress balls. We again had yellow kazoos, yellow pinwheels, and yellow ducks. Between shows on UPTV, we had a reader screen showing the date and details of all the events. Amanda?
And going to social media.
Are you okay?
We utilized all, hang in there. We utilized all of our social media platforms multiple times a week in various forms in the months, weeks, and days leading up to the event. This included a brief summer events promo reel, which I know Councilmember Grassi has seen, so this will be a replay for you leading up to the event. This also included a brief, and so Linda, you would go ahead and play that. it short, sweet, to the point, sort of generating some of the interest for the upcoming events that were happening this summer, including Duck Days. We also included a save the date in between the lines, which is that print newsletter that's mailed to over 19,000 homes. We also created a really dynamic promo video, which we do for most of our big events, that was created to capture the essence of the event, showcasing highlights and key attractions. And it played on UPTV and was shared across social media platforms, our city website, and through email marketing to build that anticipation. If you want to go ahead and play that.
Let's celebrate the end of the rainy season. Join your family and friends on Saturday, June 1st for this year's Duck Days festivities. The parade kicks off at 10 a.m. and marches south down Bridgeport Way. See all the familiar parade faces, including the high school band, cheerleaders, and more. After the parade, visit Market Square for live music, food trucks, kids entertainment, and new this year, a maker's market. Check out the Pierce County Sheriff and UP Police Department's vehicle display. And Fire Station 31 will be showing off their fire trucks and grilling up their famous free hot dogs.
Thank you.
We'll see you at this year's Duck Days Parade on Saturday, June 1st in University Place.
Now again, you might be wondering if I create two different videos for two separate platforms. Well, one thing to keep in mind is that we do have a 24-hour channel we have to fill. And so creating those short promo videos, while they may look a little bit different than Instagram Reels, not only do they reach a different audience, but they serve a different purpose. So it's really important for us to create that dynamic content between our platforms. That way we're reaching that wider audience. So in addition to the videos, on the day of the event, our team captures high-quality photos and videos to document the festivities in their entirety. These are used for post-event content, social media updates during and after, and future promotional materials. And after the event, a recap video was created to celebrate the success of the day and share those memorable moments, which you can see on UPTV and on YouTube. And this year in our e-newsletter, we included 5 to 7 articles with varying degrees of event information before and after the event, making sure that we're touching people in a bunch of different editions of the newsletter to make sure that they're seeing that information and it's sticking in their brains.
I'm just hitting the arrow key. It shouldn't play again. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Other duties as assigned. So we just wanted to mention a couple of other things because there's a bunch of little things that we do that and some bigger things that we didn't include in this, but we were trying to give you kind of the bigger picture. Other duties is assigned. Our department plays a key role in supporting many behind-the-scenes operations that keep the city running smoothly. We work in emergency management, acting as the public information office, managing and disseminating information during emergencies and crises. This includes coordinating with emergency services, crafting timely alerts and updates, and ensuring clear communication with the public to provide guidance, instructions, and safety information. We manage records and contract management for our department, ensuring legal compliance, keeping the city's documentation organized and accessible. This extends to invoicing, managing the budget, and providing budget support, particularly for services like printing jobs. Those kinds of numbers are requested during budget time. Our team also handles overseeing the printing of all officially logoed materials, so that includes the clothing orders you saw, the name tags, the business cards, and stationery, and things like that. We manage branding both internal and external, so the city's image is cohesive and professional, and the logo is always used appropriately. In addition, we provide support for council meetings, handle notices for flag raising and lowerings, and manage the UPTV online guide. We also, Mandy, is this you we also take charge of? No?
You might want to take it, I think.
Okay, we also take charge of staff. No worries. We also take charge of staff ID badge photos and council member photos, ensuring everyone has updated identification and images for official use. Lastly, we oversee online survey management, where we gather valuable feedback from the community with our online survey surveys. Here are a few examples of current projects that are project-based that we are working on. The website refresh, which will likely be completed in 2025. It'll help enhance our current website and update its features and accessibility. We're going to be working on our branding guide, which will help provide guidance for the use of our logo materials. It's also on our list to complete in 2025. We'll be updating our social media policies to reflect the current landscape of government social media and ensure that we are remaining compliant in our use of our platforms. These tasks, while not always visible, are essential to keeping our department operating efficiently and aligned with both council goals and public expectations. What do we need from council? That was one of the things that somebody said maybe we should ask. What do we need? We actually, to optimize our communication efforts and ensure that we effectively engage with the community, we seek your support in several key areas. We would greatly benefit from and often and appreciate, but typically do get, but we just wanted to mention it, your availability at community events. It helps us capture and share important moments that are happening here in the city. Additionally, coordinating with us to select open times for tapings for the upcoming council videos that we will be doing, and Amanda will be in touch with you about those. Most importantly, it's also crucial that we stay informed about your upcoming schedules and any important developments that so that we can proactively share relevant information on the website or in any of our with the public. Your collaboration in these areas will significantly enhance our outreach. Thank you for your time and attention today. We deeply appreciate the opportunity to present our findings on the latest trends in communications and the progress we've made across various channels, including our website, social media platforms, print materials, and UPTV. Your support and engagement are crucial as we continue to enhance our communication strategies and serve our community more effectively. If you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer them at this time, and we appreciate your engagement here.
So before we do this, as a friendly reminder of the timing, it is 7:45, and we have a comprehensive plan next, which is very detailed and will take us the whole entire hour. So if we can keep it to our time limit that we have left, it would be appreciated. Any other questions that didn't get answered or comments, maybe Steve, if you're one-on-ones, you can have Linda C's involved so that council is here or other council members who weren't here can finish their questions or comments so that we can stay on time. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. First, excellent presentation. I can tell this was put on by communications professionals because the embedded videos always worked. And it was also obviously clearly communicated, a lot of good work there. So I have I guess a question. As highlighted today at the start of our meeting, we had a public comment session where there was nobody in the room. However, you folks are hearing public comment every single day on various issues that I honestly don't hear. I admit I'm a Luddite. I'm not on Facebook often, if at all, and I do need to change that. But is there a way, and this is just kind of the good idea fairy talking, is if during our public comment session of our meetings we could have a very quick synopsis of what people are saying online. It'd be very interesting to hear what's going on a more regular basis. Just a thought.
I'm going to defer to the city attorney.
I was going to defer to our internal team, because I think it's probably worth it. No, because it's probably worth an internal discussion. Because one of the things, and Linda and Amanda hit on this, it's a question of audience. Some of the comments that we're getting might not be, the council might not be the audience. It may be directed towards a particular department or a specific thing. I need an answer now today. They have the answer and then move on to the next item. But I think it's probably worthy of some follow-up discussion internally.
Right, and I don't think we would need to see specifics, but just general communications, concerns, trends, what is the public talking about, that kind of thing. That I think would be valuable information for us. So thank you. I move my comment.
Thank you. Councilmember Grassley.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for this incredible report and extensive, both you and Amanda, thank you for you both know how much passionate I am about communication. So this is exciting, and I love to see all those metrics go up, and takes a lot of work and creativity, and so I just think it's always beautifully done and feels professional and represents our city so well. I know all of you work so hard, so thank you for all the hard work you do. I'm excited about that website update. I really think that's going to really help and be more user-friendly. I'm really looking forward to that. A couple of questions. Do you have a plan or a kind of a thought of how we can increase that engagement of the e-newsletter versus the sends? I mean, we have 3,300 people receiving the newsletter online, email, which is, as you said, so cost-effective to get it in people's hands on their screen versus the 19,000 that we send out, which is not as cost-effective and also sometimes just gets thrown out with the mail. So I'm wondering, is there an active plan that we could engage over the next year or so to see that number increase closer to our sends?
We've done a few things at Duck Days. We have the QR codes you can sign up. I think at our 25th anniversary, we had a booth where we gave away shirts that said "I Heart UP" to anybody who signed up for the newsletter. The things you need to know is that Constant Contact, which is the system we use, we have to check a box that says that we have permission from that person. And typically, the best way to do that is to make them do the sign up. But you bring up a really good point. We haven't done it in a while, and I think that we could probably find another means to do that again, maybe at an event or some other method. Yeah.
October, or even Christmas, receive a Christmas gift from us, which is your new. You've been signed up for the month for a Christmas gift from our city. I think that is a great idea. Free gift for everybody. It is free. I mean, so I'm sorry, Amanda, were you saying?
One thing that no, it's okay. I know I'm not seen, so it's hard to raise my hand. But one thing that we actually did recently, and I think it was in April, and I was kind of testing something out. Again, a lot of times we're trying to trial and error and see what things work and what things don't. But we did, I think it was a day before our newsletter went out, said, hey, the newsletter's coming out tomorrow, and we're going to be posting X, Y, and Z information. We saw over 80 signups in one day. Now, considering that we have 3,500, or not one day, I should say, over the course of the next 2 weeks. And so it boosted our numbers, and I'm looking at these numbers right now. Sorry if you're not having trouble understanding me, but so I know that we can talk more about having a strategy for implementing that on some of those social media channels to encourage that sign up, because I think there is an audience who wants to get that regular information and maybe just might not know about it. We try to post often and have done so over the years, like Linda said, at events, QR codes, different initiatives, but it's something that we could definitely consider including in more of our regular communications.
Okay, great. And then do you have a lot of engagement with Flashvote? I mean, when we put that I know is a different animal, but do we cross-reference those when people want to say?
I actually don't manage the Flashvote so much as Lisa Patoric does, and so I can't speak directly to numbers. Amanda, I don't know if you have numbers in front of you or if Lisa wants to share something.
For Flashvote, I know we have about 270 people signed up as of September 4th. And so those are, I would say those have kind of remained slowly, it's like a slow growth. We definitely could increase our push for more people to sign up for Flashvote. But I will say, when we do put out those surveys, a lot of people engage with them, and it's always really interesting and exciting to see the feedback that we get.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. I also wanted to echo what an excellent report. The enthusiasm certainly shines through, and the professionalism is really extraordinary when you take into account that it's been suggested that it's only 2 staff and extended consultants. I would say that that is hard to believe based upon the really wonderful results and experiences that we get to have because of what you're actually able to contribute. I wanted to quickly comment on 2 things, though. The trust is fundamental comment. It kept pulling me back in because you talked about transparency as one way to really undergird the trust, and the expectation of Reels and its use and how it really provides a different type of emotion. And in my view, that underscoring of what you can feel that imbues trust. So I just wondered if there was any intentionality to be that much more representative of media outcomes with reels, and if so, just like to hear ideas around that might imbue, again, that trust, that fundamental expectation from communications in general from the city.
And so one way, when we talk about using Instagram Reels, we have our day-to-day casual things that we're talking about, whether we're putting out information about upcoming events, or we're talking about crack sealing, or we're highlighting some of our local parks. While that may not seem like it's engendering that trust, it's establishing that connection with our audience. So that way, when we do put out that important information, whether it's a new policy or parking meters, or if there's a big emergency that's happening, that audience is already attuned into our content. They're familiar with our brand, they're familiar with our voice and our consistency, and they know that they can turn to us for that content and know that the information is coming from a credible source. And so by having those casual interactions on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, when that big information does become absolutely essential to put out to the community, we know that we have their ear and we know that we have their trust. Or at least we'd like to hope that's what we're working towards, because we do want to make sure we're being transparent. We're not just putting out these fun videos because they're fun, which they are, and they do create that emotional connection and highlight, the diversity and the imagery of our community. But it also helps us foster that relationship, which is going to be so fundamental when it comes to putting out that important information.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your comments.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very good. I think I made my comments in the prior comments, so I'm good. So thank you, Ms.
I'm sorry, Ms.
You didn't
I
do
didn't
the-
flick you.
You didn't. Okay, so we have a little thing going here. Councilmember Ken Grassi, when he wanted attention on the diocese, he would flick the member next to him to get somebody's attention that he wants to speak. So his daughter, council member,
It's tradition.
she's just flicked. She's just
You
flicked
should have
me.
never slapped me.
Now my arm is bruised. So anyway, that being said, Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One more idea. I just thought it's a great opportunity to showcase our commissioners, and I know that they do such great work and they give their time, and they're vital to our community. And so, just another idea on the lengthy list that you have.
No, we appreciate that.
Would be
Any
great
ideas?
to
Yes.
to highlight their work, their service, and their role in our community is just so appreciative of all the work that they do and hours they give to better us all. So I think that might be a great group of people to highlight as well.
We appreciate that.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate getting to be here tonight. And thank you all for your nice comments.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. I wish I could. I love getting to talk to all of you about this kind of stuff. So again, I'm so sorry, but thank you for letting me talk behind the scenes.
Well, go rest. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item, which is item number 9, a comprehensive plan update. This is the second study for the passage of an ordinance. And staff, Kevin Brisky, Development and Economic Development Director, and Kenneth George, Planning Manager. Well, you're not Kevin Brisky. So let's start with who you are so we know who's sitting before us.
All right. Check, check. Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Carter, Associate Planner with LDC. We help put together the comprehensive plan with the city, and I'm here to present some of the elements we worked on and give you a little insight to kind of what was updated and as to why.
Okay, so I'm going to ask both of you to keep that microphone close to you, okay? And Mr. George, you too. You need to really put that mic close to you. Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely. I'll make sure this gets
Thank you.
nice and close. Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. This evening, Kenneth George, Planning Manager for Planning Development Services. for the city. So I'm going to do a brief introduction here and set the stage for our presentation this evening before I turn it over to our consultant from LDC Inc., who will run through the presentation for us. I wanted to briefly just mention again that tonight's study session will be on the University Place Comprehensive Plan periodic update. From the last presentation that we provided back in July 15th study session earlier this summer, during that study session, staff provided an overview of what the comprehensive plan is, why we need to update the plan, what our approach was, and the public involvement efforts that we use to engage UP's residents and also take some questions from council. So now one of the things I also wanted to highlight again is that we're referring this to as a periodic update. So it's a little bit different than your run-of-the-mill updates that can occur annually. The comprehensive plan, according to the state rules, we're only allowed to update if needed, as needed, on a yearly basis, once a year, or if there is a private application from citizens to petition an amendment to the comprehensive plan. What we're talking about is a major update based on state requirements to do a periodic update, which is previously it was a cycle of 8 years. We're currently on that 8-year cycle, but the state made a change. So the next update would be, they made a change from bringing it from 8 years to 10 years. So the next update you would see for this, what we refer to as a major periodic update, and that's because the state rules state that cities and counties need to review and periodically review. So the state calls it a periodic update, and we continue to use that language so everyone more or less knows the magnitude of what we're trying to achieve here, which is not just going through and updating updating various elements as needed to meet some requirements. This is a statewide efforts for all jurisdictions who are planning under the Growth Management Act to update their comprehensive plan. And there's a lot of efforts from other agencies as well to partner with this effort. So I just wanted to frame that again, that this is a major periodic update. Next one that would come through at this magnitude would be 2034. It would be the 10-year cycle. And again, I mentioned the approach, where we discussed the approach at the last council session on this topic. I wanted to briefly mention it again, that we've gone through, and this isn't a wholesale, revamping, going through, and this effort was to look at all the state changes that have happened since the last periodic update and come in and go through each element. And again, there's 10 elements in this comprehensive plan, which at the last meeting we did not have the full draft. We weren't intending to present the full draft to you. We wanted to provide you that update and frame the efforts. As you can see in your council packets this evening, you do have all 284 pages. I believe that's what of the element, and I'm really excited for everyone who took the effort to review that this weekend. Before I turn it over to our consultant, again, I just wanted to mention that for tonight, we broke up the comprehensive plan. Again, our approach was to go through all of the state requirements and really itemize and do all the checklists that they provided. So there are 10 elements, and through the assistance and efforts of LDC, they did a lot of the major heavy lifting on some of those bigger requirements of the elements. There are some, those are of the required elements that we have from the Growth Management Act. There are a few optional elements that we do include already, that we have already had in our comprehensive plan and in an introduction. And there are some elements that really didn't receive very much updates or didn't have any state requirements to update. So those efforts to update a little less than half of the comprehensive plan were all from staff. So tonight, this evening, with the assistance of our consultant, we'll go through all of the updates that they really had a big hand in helping us update, and we'll save the ones that was entirely updated by staff efforts at a later study session. And so, with that, I'll happy to turn it over and not take too much of Thomas's thunder. And go through the presentation that you have on your screen and in front of you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Kenneth. Again, my name is Thomas Carter, planning consultant with the, associate planner at LDC, who again assisted with the comprehensive plan updates. Right here, made a little slide of meeting objectives. I think Kenneth covered at least 2 out of the 4 of those, so let's just get right into the comprehensive plan element overview. What LDC really focused on was the land use element and the housing element. Those were the 2 biggest push for this cycle. A lot of updates, a lot of reworking of language to comply with state requirements. And then the additional elements we worked on were the transportation, capital facilities, utilities, and environmental management elements. We also provided an example of some of the, a little bit of an insight to how we collaborated with the Planning Commission to come up with the end result for some of these policies. You kind of went over this, so I'm going to go ahead and pass over that or quickly over it. Again, comprehensive plan provides a chance for jurisdictions to update their plans, ensures compliance with the Commerce guidance and PSRC guidance. Again, the elements updated by us were the land use, housing, transportation, capital facilities, utilities, and environmental management elements. These are kind of the driving forces behind the updates. We have House Bill 1220, and we just kind of boiled this down to the nitty-gritty. The idea is to plan for and accommodate housing affordable to all income levels. House Bill 111 or 1110, which is allowing middle housing options such as duplex, triplex, also quadplex, and et cetera. And then House Bill 1337, which is allowing at least 2 ADUs per lot within urban growth areas. For the growth management updates, we have planned for sufficient land capacity and housing needs, provide for moderate density housing options within the UGA, making adequate provisions for housing for existing and projected needs for all economic segments of the community, and identifying racially disparate impacts, displacements, and exclusionary housing policies and regulations. This is a quick little summary of what changed in the narrative body of the land use element. Again, we mentioned a little bit of this before with the House bills and also the Growth Management Act, but real quickly, again, we also updated the growth management portion of the land use element to emphasize green spaces and environmental justice, and then also included a wildfire risk mitigation, because that is now required. We updated the vision 2040 to 2050. Again, this is to address current regional growth strategies. The current goals for the regional, let me get to the actual page, my bad. The regional growth strategy goals currently is to have 65% growth in growth centers and 75% growth in employment near high capacity transit areas. For the Pierce County CPPs or countywide planning policies, the focus on that was for the implementing or basically updating the growth targets and also adding provision in there about coordinating the tribes in land use decisions and coordination, as well as creating healthy communities through planning. For the land use aspirations portion of the narrative, no significant changes there. And major land use issues, again, we are updating this per the Regional Growth Center sub-area plan, and also to comply with the new regulations from Commerce and PSRC. So what we'll do is we'll kind of go over, again, a synopsis of each individual section of the goals and policies of the land use element, and then at the end of that, we'll have some questions if you have any. The first thing we went over, or the first part of this update, let me scroll down. And again, this is, again, mentioning making considerations for all income segments of the community, making sure that those with extremely low, very low, and low income are considered in this comprehensive plan update, as well as making sure planning within the community takes into consideration historically underserved communities. Design developments to provide more non-gas options for transportation, making it more accessible to everybody regardless of your accessibility options, and considering how development might have a health and livability impact to the community. So those were the main driving forces for the growth management update. The land use compatibility update, there was minimal changes to this section, but the main focus again was to emphasize the growth within the city and make sure that growth within the city complements and enhances the community. We also took out exclusionary terms in the land use elements such as character. For the community facilities, the changes in this section really emphasize access to human services and facilities for all, and strategic locationing of those services to make sure they're equitable, accessible to a population, as well as making these locations resilient towards potential climate change events. For the green infrastructure portion of the goals and policies, we added in a provision talking about coordinating with neighboring jurisdictions for the purpose of environmental monitoring. For the open space and resource protection portions, there is, again, no major changes. Again, we're just focusing on preserving green space and keeping UP as distinctive from other communities as possible. The plan map and land use designation changes, making sure that the current and future land use is compatible with adjacent jurisdictions' land use, making sure there's no conflict there. For the residential land use, we emphasize making green spaces easily accessible for everyone, also transportation, providing housing for all those in every stage of life that allows people to stay in University Place for as long as possible, provide a variety of housing options for everybody, consider innovative housing types such as ADUs, cluster housing, and cottage housing, and promote greater density while maintaining current building heights. For commercial land use, making new commercial development accessible to everyone using all forms of travel, supporting existing businesses through land use decisions to make it easier for existing and new business to expand, increasing diversity in goods via supporting underserved communities and tribes, and making goods and services readily available and accessible to historically underserved communities. For the light manufacturing section, we emphasize keeping uses separate and protecting the industrial zone from adjacent incompatible uses, and analyzing impacts on new proposed industrial uses to historically underserved communities. Parks and open space. Emphasize equal access to parks, open space, recreational opportunities via walking. Tribe support in identifying areas that need enhancement, utilizing the regional conservation plan, and referencing the regional open space conservation plan within our land use elements. And last but not least, we have essential public facilities. Again, this is for retrofitting public facilities to be resilient to severe weather and climate events, and an emphasis on locating facilities near the regional growth center. We also have the special planning areas. Right here we have Regional Growth Center, Days Island, Sunset Beach, in the Leech Creek area, yes. Some of the main points for those updates, again, was the recognition and maintenance of UP Regional Growth Center, ensure consistency with the comprehensive plan and sub-area plan, prioritize investments and enhance accessibility, connect residential neighborhoods, provide affordable access, and retrofitting for efficient green energy. For Days Island, The idea is to improve connectivity and walking environment, support activities coherent with existing uses, and to promote clean and healthy living and address climate change and greenhouse emissions. And for the Leech Creek area, the plan for new development and future public facilities, incorporate climate change measures, and employ low-impact development methods. And right there, that is kind of the end of our land use updates we did for land use elements. And if you have any questions, I am available. Or we can just move on to the housing.
Just real quick, and I'll ask the council members. Thank you. Just real quick. So you're going through this. Maybe I missed something while I was out, but this is linked to the actual comp plan that we've made some amendments. But we're not amending the whole comp plan, which is amending certain portions. Is that correct? So, but you went through a whole housing element and land use element for the whole comp, right? Is this the stuff that we're going to be amending?
Yes, we still went through the whole elements and identified areas that needed to be changed based on state requirements, and some that may not have needed to be changed, and we just left them as well.
Okay, good enough. All right, thank you. Any questions right now? Okay, Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you just, I thought I heard it was under growth management that one of the descriptors, character, removed.
That's my question.
Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Could you just give a little context into the decision and that?
So the idea
process?
is usually character is used as a way to basically keep a community the way exactly as it is exactly, and not having it change in any sort of way possible, whether that's type of development, type of people that come in. And so usually it's found throughout some research that character is one of those exclusionary terms that can be used. So we went through the element to try to remove that in that kind of context.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
So, quick question here. I saw that you part of your update was on green infrastructure, and I know the council plans to look at a climate action plan coming up over the next biennium. Will that get incorporated into the comprehensive plan, either as an amendment, or what's the thought process on that right now? Do you have?
Yeah, I think there are still some efforts for developing a climate action plan. We still have elements of the climate, because we don't have a specific climate action plan or climate change element in the comprehensive plan right now, but there are still pre-existing elements or components of those policies in our comprehensive plan. So we will make amendments as a climate action plan is developed, and then further there is an additional requirement by the next, I believe, within the next 5 years, another state bill that was changed that will have to actually incorporate a brand new element in the comprehensive plan for climate resiliency. So we'll eventually start to play with some of those existing policies and see where they could be folded into just a specific sub-element. But right now, we do have existing policies that kind of touch on those areas.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to affirm that the reference term character, as was mentioned, as to be determined as an exclusionary term. Which one of the land use elements was that most prevalent at? Was that the land use compatibility that you had made mention of, or was that somewhere else in your presentation?
I mean, I believe is most likely just in the, let me see, where did I put it? just going through this real quick to find it. Oh, there we go. Land use compatibility section is where that change was made. Usually it's a very common term in most comprehensive plans that I've worked on. So it's not only this one section. If we saw it probably throughout the goals and policies, we most likely removed it to get rid of that exclusionary term.
Okay, thanks for the context and thanks for the reference. I appreciate it.
No problem.
No more questions, Mayor.
Okay.
All right. So next on the list is the housing element. So the housing element had the biggest, was the biggest lift. It had the most changes that we had to account for. So we'll go through those now. Again, we want to make sure we added in language acknowledging House Bill 1337 and House Bill 1110. And to go back real quick, that was the allowing at least 2 ADUs per lot within the urban growth areas and allowing middle housing options such as duplex, triplexes, and quadplexes. Vision 2050 multi-county planning policies, no significant updates, just more updates to Vision 2050 plans. For the Pierce County countywide planning policies, we updated this with the focus of meeting affordable and moderate income housing goals, preserving existing housing stock, and also building new units, and ensuring affordability for all economic segments with special attention to historically underserved communities. As you see throughout the whole entire plan or slides, this is kind of the main focus, and that's kind of been looked at throughout all the elements, and those are another one of those changes that we implemented a lot. Housing aspirations, some of the aspirations we added or updated were to make sure that there's a broad choice of housing options for all those at different life stages, more multifamily housing, and diverse housing with convenient access to transportation, goods, schools, parks, and employment. Also include a section there for smaller form housing and middle housing. Some of the major housing issues that we updated was the range of housing not reflecting the population needs, the differences between related family, married with children individuals, related family has also increased. So with more development focused on related family, single family housing, that was the main focus of that. And it has shown that more housing options are needed based on the study that we had a consultant do for us. Emphasize large single-family housing is being built, but a lot of the population is aging in place, which might want smaller lots or homes to take care of. Addressing increased cost burden due to housing costs and impacts of housing costs to those that work in University Place. All right, for this one, we're going to again go through a brief summary of what we updated for each of these goals and policy sections. All right, so for neighborhood preservation, we made sure we focused on enhancing and preserving existing housing stock, promoting the maintenance and repair of existing housing stocks to provide affordable housing options, promote the ownership opportunities for those with moderate, low, very low, and extremely low incomes, encourage infill developments to help facilitate more affordable development, and allowing diverse housing types in residential neighborhoods. For housing choice, we added support incentives for the encouragement of affordable, diverse, and permanent supportive housing units, promoting increased housing options to increase affordability, encourage small lot development to provide options for affordable home ownership, increasing the density of residential development and discouraging detached single-family dwellings, implementing design standards for accessory dwelling units and detached accessory dwelling units to match the principal residence, and to promote universal design standards consistent with Americans for Disability Act. Housing affordability. Main points there were to allow development of a variety of housing types for all economic segments. Consider populations with high displacement risk when implementing regulations. New housing, having consideration of it, new housing being within walking distance to transit where possible. Maintain and achieve the suggested housing targets. Consider citing affordable housing near transits and services. Providing incentives for those developing affordable housing for extremely low and moderate low households. Evaluate updates to the MFT programs and effects. Encourage developers to take advantage of opportunities and incentives for developing small lots for affordable housing. Consider a model similar to MFT that would require a portion of future developments to be affordable to extremely low to moderate income households. Provide a study that produces information on which options would support affordable housing and that would allow us to reach housing supply targets. Identify and update policies that are not effective in helping achieve housing targets and affordability, and monitoring and revising progress towards meeting the city's housing needs. For permanent supportive housing, updates would include provide resources for accessible and assisted living housing, securing grants associated with permanent supporting housing, emergency shelter beds, transitional housing, and housing serving at-risk populations, and encouraging supply of permanent supportive housing within the area. And then last but not least, we have the housing inventory. Again, those updates included provisions such as increasing housing type available, providing cost-effective housing opportunities and options, promoting and supporting volunteer services that help elderly people take care of their homes and repair and maintenance needs, promoting infill development near existing utility and transportation infrastructure, support strategies to encourage affordable, diverse, and permanent supportive housing units, increase middle housing options such as duplex, quadplex, triplexes, making sure new additional housing types architecturally match with existing surrounding housing, and allowing for attached and detached units. And that briefly goes over the housing element changes. In your packets, you will see there was a lot more that we did. That's kind of the general broad strokes of the main points we were trying to get at with the housing element. So there'll be more details and some of the summaries I just presented in the housing element. There you go. Any questions?
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. So a couple things. First, I want to make sure, because you mentioned this and I'm really glad to hear it, talking about housing ownership specifically, because right now it's getting so expensive to purchase a home that, can't be done. And as you're probably aware, the development of intergenerational wealth really starts with owning housing. And so glad to hear that's in there. I want to make sure that doesn't get lost in the details of everything else. Did you look at, because it's kind of a separate element, but looking at transit versus housing specifically, I'm thinking of state laws regarding the types of housing you put around transit, especially like bus rapid transit or rail systems or things like that, especially the impact in UP as they theoretically add a rail line that's going to come down towards the northern end of UP. What will that do to our housing codes, regulations in our northern business district area? And if somebody is to put bus rapid transit in our town, what does that do to our housing regulations and policies? So it's not there yet, but it's something I anticipate will come sooner or later. And so looking at that part of the plan. And then finally, hear from developers, anecdotally, that part of the problem with building affordable housing is that there's too much housing regulation. Does any part of this comprehensive plan look at housing regulation to see if there's A, truth in that statement, or how much truth is in that statement, and B, is there something we could be doing to help with affordable housing through looking at regulations versus not just, making them smaller? Just a thought I had.
I got an idea.
All right. Just a thought. All right.
So to address housing and also transportation, a lot of this update was to kind of make it easier for, like we know transit will be expanding down here in the future. So to basically we updated with that in mind to make it easier to make any other necessary updates, at least the guidelines for them, or at least in the comprehensive plan, have them at least considered. Same thing with the housing. The comprehensive plan is not like a concrete set of or laws or anything that can make anyone do anything. Again, it's just the goals and aspirations for the city. But again, the idea is to make sure that at least it's a stated goal to expand housing, expand the ownership options, and also to consider the fact that, transit is going to be a huge part and that we need to plan for the expansion of that. That's it from the comprehensive plan perspective. What do you got, Kenneth?
Yeah, I was going to note that in updating these policies, we're certainly taking a look at those because those policies are going to set the stage. And one of the big state bills that you might be aware of is House Bill 1110. And so we've made sure that going through that, our comprehensive plan is at least consistent with that. And we'll begin to work on those development regulations over the next year. And a big component is that, allowing middle housing in more residential neighborhoods too. So those development regulations going in place will be consistent with the comprehensive plan going forward. And another big interesting piece with the light rail, really excited when that comes in, maybe for my grandchildren or something is when it finally gets here. But we do have that radius that really grows. It does, if they end up having transit-oriented development, state requirements that come down, that we have the zoning in that whole area is part of the regional growth center. So that if it ends up stopping right there at TCC, there's a big radius or that's there that is already a regional growth center, and there's a lot of residential capacity and a lot of residential housing choices that are already available. And if that radius ever begins to expand, it will start to get into some of those single-family residential neighborhoods in the further reaches of it. But there's already a big portion of that radius, and then we'll been working with or having meetings with Pierce Transit, and they're currently updating their destination 2040, I believe, too. So they've been talking with them. They've been really helpful with reviewing our draft comprehensive plan over there. Their planners I've given them, and they've been very communicative with transit supportive policy and taking a look at our comprehensive plan and seeing if there's many transit supportive policies that they could help us develop as part of it. So that conversation still has been going on, and been able to work some of those into this comprehensive plan update.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To that extent that Deputy Mayor asked about impacts for developers and considerations, as well as your own recommendation within housing choice of universal design standards being encouraged, can you give more insight as to why that is encouraged and if that has an impact on what you see as future opportunity for expansion in an appropriate and positive way for the City of University Place?
Could you say that one more time?
I sure can. You made specificity around universal design standards as being encouraged. I believe is one of the things that you had expounded upon in housing choice. So as you think about having an opinion about developer considerations as it was relative to transportation and housing. Do you have any insight as people, let me allude to, aging in place, or ways in which we might be able to defer costs when it comes to future development, specifically looking at the idea of universal design standards as being adopted, since it's one of the things that you've encouraged?
Yeah, I think I might be able to touch a little bit more on that. So, in terms of my perspective, the universal design standards encouragement came a little bit late in our review of it as well. I felt more appropriate to pause on, or at least putting on something that says encourage those for right now, because the work of the South Sound Housing Affordability Partner, SHAPE, and Councilmember Fleming isn't here to discuss that, but even in the last executive meeting with that group, that group is working on universal design standards and more policy, and the work group that's being as a part of that is putting a lot of effort into that. So the intention of that SHAPE group is that when they begin to finalize something for all of the SHAPE members, that we could all go ahead and pick from, that they are basically packaging this up for us, and we have an opportunity to use it as we see fit. So I'm really more excited to be waiting to see what kind of work comes out of that, and then be able to fold that into it as more of a comprehensive change than just trying to figure out what they're doing now too early. And so they're doing a lot of really good research for us, for all the SHAPE and member jurisdictions. But for right now, we felt really it was important to at least address it and get something in the comprehensive plan now.
Okay, so the intent was to open the door, leave opportunity for discussion, and then have more specificity as you get insight on universal design standards and how it might impact us particularly. Is that fair?
Yes, that's
okay.
very good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. No more questions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, the other elements are pretty short and sweet. Over here is just a general list of kind of the overall updates we made to most of the elements we were responsible for. Again, equitable services, health disparities, making sure we focus on the regional growth strategies, focusing on greenhouse gas emissions, climate resiliency, green infrastructure, economic development, and collaboration. Those were kind of the main things we were going over the comp plan, making sure we have mentions of that throughout most of the elements that we worked on. And we're going to briefly go over some of the other elements. Again, there weren't a lot of huge changes with the remaining elements, such as transportation, capital facilities, environmental management, and utilities. So some of the major updates or things we updated or things we were looking at in terms of updating the elements was energy conservation, stormwater pollution, and green building retrofits. Making sure we're conserving energy and looking at alternative energy sources, reducing any stormwater pollution from transportation facilities, and also looking at green building retrofits as a way to reduce energy consumption. Next, we have transportation elements. This was probably, besides the land use and the housing elements, the other big elements that we need to update. Again, not as big as those. Again, some of the things we addressed was transit access, mobility choices, transit alternatives, multimodal transportation, system resilience, stormwater pollution, mobility patterns, and walkable communities. For the transit access, we wanted to make sure we emphasize that we have transit programs that provide access to historically underserved communities, mobility choices, ensure mobility choices for underserved communities, alternatives, invest in transit alternatives to increase the options available, multimodal, improve multimodal transportation for goods, making sure that the transit system is resilient towards any potential climate change impacts, reducing stormwater pollution from transportation facilities, being responsive for changes or responsive to changes in mobility patterns, and also promoting walkable, healthy, and transit-oriented communities. For the environmental management elements, some of the key focuses we had were the Puget Sound restoration, natural resource protection, tree canopies, climate change mitigation, best management practices, coordination and wildlife protection, as well as environmental impact reductions. And again, the main key focus of those were promoting efforts to restore Puget Sound, to protect and preserve natural resources and green spaces to help offset greenhouse gases, preserve, enhance, and inventory tree canopies within the city, mitigate the effects of climate change and promote resiliency to climate impacts and natural hazards, implement best management practices to mitigate impacts of natural environments, coordination with tribes, neighboring and local agencies, protection of fish and wildlife species, and also consideration to reduce environmental impacts to those disproportionately affected areas. I think this is, okay. And the last element we have, again, is the utilities element, where our main focuses were energy conservation, utility infrastructure, renewable energy, green building retrofits, community impact, coordination, hazardous waste management, and utility provider updates. Again, conserving energy to look at alternative energy sources, support investment into utility infrastructure, promote the use of renewable energy, reducing the energy consumption via green building retrofits, minimizing impacts to surrounding communities, coordination with the local agencies, tribes, and jurisdictions on siting of utilities to help protect Puget Sound, preparation and implementation of hazardous waste management plan, and also updates to the utility provider information. And those were kind of the other elements in a nutshell. Again, not a lot of huge changes, narrative-wise or policy-wise. If you would like to go over those and had any questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
I have several, but I'll just keep it to one for right now. Just under the transportation element, I just didn't see it in here. You mentioned walkable communities. And I don't even know if this is a real term, but bikeable communities. Do you talk about non-walking transit as well? Just, I mean, because I'm seeing a lot more e-bikes out on the roads and stuff like that, and I think making that part of the plan or part of our aspirations would be a good thing. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so just give an example of this big picture stuff. You said there's some not much changes, but it seems like you're indicating that there were some insignificant changes made. What would give me an example, like under utility infrastructure, support invest in utility infrastructure. What kind of a minor change would you put in our comprehensive plan for our city?
Say the last part one more time. Sorry.
So you said that these here very little to none changes. So pick any one of them and tell me what the insignificant or any kind of a slight change that occurred. Just I want to hear an example of what a slight change means in this big picture stuff.
Got it. So for instance, like promote the use of renewable energy. Basically what we did is we went through the goals and policies, just added a policy or maybe added to an existing policy that the idea is to drive the idea that we're looking for alternatives instead of trying to keep with the existing way things are.
I understand the philosophy there, the principle, but can you give me an exact change that you made that UP would do in our comp plan?
If I had internet, I could show you.
Okay. Okay, so we have another study
examples
session, so
like-
if you can come back, you know, in the next study session and give some specific, even in this big picture stuff, you're
Yeah.
saying that there are some minor changes, not a big deal, but I certainly would like to see some samples, what that really means that our city is actually going to put in there, and you're asking us to approve in the future, near future, okay?
Roger that. We actually have examples. It's for the housing element, so that's a bigger chunk and a bigger
No,
change.
I understand about the house, and believe me, we talked ourselves right into insane. So I'm talking about this big picture stuff, utility infrastructure, green building retrofit. Just come back with some samples that you, in other words, highlighted before we finish this whole study in the next 2 times before we approve it. I certainly want to see some actual word sat in our document that the change was made.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? What are we able to do in that big picture stuff? This is big stuff here. You know, we can put it, we certainly, I don't see how we can even put a dent in the big picture here. But if you're changing something, I certainly want to know what that is.
Understandable. Kenneth, question. The comprehensive plan they have, does it have all the red lines?
It does not. We ended up, because those red lines ended up being, chaotic and really hard to read, that we opted to provide the council with a clean version of it. But we do have also a red line version that if you wouldn't mind, doing your best to save. I think you have printed copies. Do your best to save, because you'll have that clean version. And then at the next study session on this, we can give you that red line version, as well as make a presentation with some of those changes.
Yeah, the red line version has all the changes we've ever done, every addition of a word. It has everything, the whole history of our updates. That's probably where you're going to find that information. I know in the previous presentation I provided, I gave you an example of the gap analysis that we would go through, how we go through each element and compare it to the MPPs or multi-county planning policies, the CPPs, the county-wide planning policies, and kind of how we take each of those policy requirements and the updates they did and kind of made a version of that for UP. I think the track changes version of the comp plan will probably be very clear on how we updated and what words we updated, but the gap analysis from the last presentation kind of shows at least a process of how we evaluated each individual goal that UP had and how we updated it per guidance from Pierce County and just Pierce County.
PSRC. Yeah, and
So was there a concern about, George, did you have a concern that if we get a red copy that something could get changed from us, or I didn't get?
No, not changed. It was just, it's the strike through and underline version. So there's parts that's stricken through, and then some that are just underlined. That ends up looking very chaotic. And if you wanted to just read what that policy was in a very clean manner, it would be, you're reading like this part's deleted and this part's added and this part's deleted and this
Right.
part's
No,
added.
I've seen those documents. Believe me. it
Better
gets
readability.
chaotic. So let me just talk to my council real quick, and because Alina and you guys, I mean, do you want a red line version? We've all seen that kind of documents. Do you think you want that, or you just want the clean one and have them highlight certain aspects that we have interest? What would you like, Councilmember Grassi?
Oh, I think if we could have a digital copy of the red line one, just to go over that we could have the option for the next study session. That way it could be maybe a digital versus, and then with this next to it, might be a little easier to do.
You're talking to a former planning commissioner. Absolutely would love that red line version. Absolutely.
Mayor Protem?
Red line on digits would be fine.
Okay, so the digital red line version to the council will be accepted, and we'll just have to figure through it, but we've all gone through this. None of us are novices. So, but I think that, for me at least, I can speak for myself, I'm not going to read the whole thing and every red line, but I will pick on those areas that I have a great interest in. And I think between all of us being different, we're going to end up with looking at different things that will help us discuss. So let's do that. Okay.
Yeah. And if I may, Mayor, thank you for believing that you were caring for us by only talking about a clean version to offer us. But it would be absolutely ideal. An electronic version, thank you, Councilmember Grassi, would be fantastic to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We can continue. I've got another 10 minutes, so.
Yeah, we can go on with that. For this particular one, we wanted to at least give you an idea of what those changes sort of looked like. So this housing policy, one where we state the original and the proposed revision, and then we have a final collaborative draft because we presented these to the Planning Commission over a couple of study sessions, and so we ended up making some changes to it. So we can use this as a template for the next it's a presentation and the next study session, and we can actually show you, not just in the electronic version and have you sift through it, but we'll make a presentation similar to showing this to show how those were changed.
Okay.
Sorry, stole that.
Oh, no, that's all. It's all good. All good. Back over.
That's pretty much the last two slides.
Yeah, that's the last two slides.
Showing you how we made those changes.
Yeah. This is an example of how we made those changes. As Kenneth said, we had the original policy. The proposed revision was basically LDC's shot at just trying to make it take out some fluff, making sure that at the bare minimum we have what we needed via PSRC and Commerce Guidance, making sure that we address all those different points. And then we proposed we presented the proposed revisions to the council, took some notes, and then again come up with a collaborative draft policy. And that's kind of the general steps we took for each element, every single goal, every single policy. So yeah, it's been vetted somewhat. I also have an example of a new housing policy, but this one's a little bit different though, because this is actually a requirement from PSRC, and so addressing what they need to see in our housing policy, and again the proposed policy and the collaborative policy at the end with council. So got an example of both kinds of policies, ones that were original that UP already had, and one that we absolutely needed because it was a requirement. So, and with that, that is the end of the presentation. Do we have any more questions?
I do have a question. The commissioners, did they get a red line digital version?
I'm sure they did.
We gave them the red line.
They got the red line. They were part of the red line. They made some of the red lines, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they understand what's going on. Okay. Well, we do appreciate that. I think that I don't see any hands. I'll go around. No? Okay. So this is, as you know, you've gone through all the homework. We'll get a taste of this. I think we all have different interests. I don't think each one of us is going to go through every line. But I think the diversity we have here will look at things. As you all know, we also have extensively talked about the legislative bills and incorporated some into ordinances and other things that we've done as part of the toolkit, the housing toolkit, as we call it. So we have a lot of that behind us as well. So we're not in too bad of a shape, but we'll try to dive in and help you in the next round. So any other? Okay, so we're all good. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next. I think we have 50 minutes lined up for you the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, I just want to make sure I'm not missing something here. That is the end of the study session, and the study session is adjourned.